People's Party's Lawyers Forum, honorable members of the bar, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Sardar Lateef Khosa Sahab, Mr. Kamran Murtaza, Mr. Ehsan Bhoon, Mr. Abid Siddiqui, Chaudhry, Lahore High Court Pa, Mr. Hafiz Insar, Vice President Lahore High Court Pa, Mr. Malik Karamat, Vice President Supreme Court Pa, Mr. Anwar Kakar, President PLF Balochistan, and Mr. Safi Chandio, PLF Sindh, Rabta, and to all guests present today, aap sabka मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ, and I would like to start by apologizing कि मैं आज आपके पास तशरीफ़ नहीं ला सका. इंशाल्लाह ताला हम जल्द ही मिलेंगे. मेरे लिए ये बाइज़े इज़्ज़त है कि आज मैं शहीद बैरिस्टर जुल्फ़िकार अली भुट्टो की सालगिरह के दिन पर PLF के फोरम से आपसे मुखातिब हूँ. बरे सगीर की तारीख में लाहौर बार को एक ख़ास मुकाम हासिल है. यहाँ के वकला की हर सियासी जदोजहद में, चाहे वो तहरीक पाकिस्तान हो, मार्शल लॉ और आमरों के ख़िलाफ़ हो, या कानून और जमहूरियत की हुक्मरानी के लिए हो, एक तारीख़ी किरदार रहा है. PLF के साथियों, आज इस मौके पर मैं आपको भी खराज तहसीन पेश करना चाहता हूं. आपने जिया आमरियत के दौर से लेकर मुशर्रफ आमिर को भगाने तक जिस अज़म और हौसले के साथ बीबी शहीद के संग अवाम के हुकूक और जमहूरियत की जंग लड़ी, वो आने वाली नस्लों के लिए एक रोशन मिसाल है. Ladies and gentlemen, 41 years have passed since my grandfather Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the first democratically elected Prime Minister of Pakistan's judicial murder. And today it pains me to say that it is shameful the way that our country's justice system has failed him. It is impossible to forget how forces of the status quo conspired to physically eliminate my grandfather. Although I was not even born when he was executed, I feel the trauma as if he was murdered before my eyes. It is not the trauma of an individual or of a family. It is the trauma of our system. It is the trauma of our nation. The judicial murder of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto is a blot not just on history, but also a stain on the entire system of Pakistan. And it will remain so until we as a nation do some soul searching and come to terms to correct this incredible wrong done in history. In the last months of the last year, I moved the Supreme Court to become a party in the reference filed by President of Pakistan under Article 186 of the Constitution to revisit the case of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. The man who upheld the law throughout his life, the very slogan, Roti, Kapra and Makan, was a testament to his yearning for justice to everyone. Let justice be done though the heavens may fall is an old adage. My grandfather believed in this adage. My grandfather believed in this system. My grandfather believed in justice. What an irony. What an irony it is that the spirit of justice that Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto so passionately admired and upheld was nowhere to be found when he was charged, convicted of conspiracy to commit murder, sentenced and executed on the testimony of an approver. What an irony that my grandfather had to become the victim of the greatest miscarriage of justice in the history of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, trophies gather dust, flowers wither away, applause eventually dies down, some sooner, some later. But a great legacy lasts far beyond fleeting applause. Indeed, it may not be applauded at the moment of occurrence, but it receives thunderous applause long afterwards. Such is the lasting legacy of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. His legacy lives on even today, after 4 decades of his assassination. The judges and dictator who sent him to the gallows have been consigned to the dustbin of history. The legacy of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto lives on. And it shall live on as long as there is injustice, as long as the rich and powerful trample the aspirations and rights of the downtrodden and the dispossessed, and as long as there is even one person standing up for them, the legacy of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto lives on. Ladies and gentlemen, this event today has afforded me an opportunity to talk about the issues that are of fundamental concern to you, to me, to all of us, indeed to the whole nation. There are many issues that need urgent attention. Issues of rule of law, constitutionalism, human rights, governance, and above all, the direction the country is taking. 5 days ago, we witnessed the last sunset of 2018. We are now in the new year of 2019. I wish all of you and indeed our entire nation a very happy new year. As an optimist, I have hopes and expectations as we enter the new year. At the same time, as chairman of the Pakistan People's Party, as a witness and participant in history, I also have trepidations. The year that has just rolled by witnessed many developments. We witnessed a general election, the 3rd in a row during a democratic dispensation. We had yet another transition from one elected civilian government to another so-called civilian government. A new party has come into power for the first time, or brought into power on the backs of certain promises. The year that has rolled by saw yet another elected prime minister thrown out of office through the judicial process. We are also witnessing an unmitigated witch hunting of the opposition in the name of accountability. Seldom before was freedom of expression stifled as it was in 2018. Seldom before were so many forces and elements at play, using so many tools to rewrite the political landscape of our country. I say seldom because it's not entirely new. We have seen it before and we've endured it before, and we have prevailed. We have prevailed and we will prevail. Today we are entering one of the worst eras of authoritarianism. We did not fight, we did not suffer, we did not sacrifice only to have a sham democracy that was a totalitarian regime in disguise. I assure you that the Pakistan People's Party will continue to fight. The Pakistan People's Party will continue to fight this threat to our liberties. We will continue to struggle for our authentic democratic system based on constitutional supremacy, because the survival of this country depends on the continuation of democracy. It is the duty of every one of us to defend and strengthen democracy in Pakistan. It is the shared responsibility of the legislator, the judiciary, the executive, the bar, the media, and the people of Pakistan. Pakistan was not envisioned as a republic that can be run by one or two strongmen. It is a country based on diversity and fundamental constitutional rights that have to be distributed amongst federating units. The ethos of our people is democratic. We appreciate and admire our people for this. Dictatorship has failed to take root in Pakistan because of the democratic ethos of our people. Our people embraced martyrdom and endured exile. They were lashed and tortured for furthering democratic ideals. The Pakistan People's Party has made matchless sacrifices in the cause of democracy. I am proud of the sacrifices of democratic political workers. I am proud of the sacrifices of the workers of the Pakistan people. They are the true heroes and heroines of our nation. The scars of torture on their bodies are badges of honor. I am proud to lead the Pakistan People's Party. And let me assure you that the Pakistan People's Party will not allow Pakistan to go back to the dark times when our magnificent diversity is suppressed. This nation can only prosper when it includes and acknowledges its people's rights and liberties, central to our fundamental dreams. Jinnah's dreams, Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, although the 2018 elections were stolen, we accepted the results for the sake of political and democratic stability. When I say that the mandate of the people was stolen, it is not a hollow political statement. My party set up a committee to examine how the elections were manipulated and the mandate of the people was stolen. The purpose was not to force a change in the July 2018 election results. Its purpose was to identify how electoral processes were corrupted and attacked on polling day, before polling day, and after polling day. We undertook this exercise to alert political workers and parties so as to prevent such stealings in the future. The party's white paper on the elections of 2018 is now almost ready for launch. From the holding of controversial census to obstructing election observers, from manipulating electables to the stifling of the media and of dissent, from delimitations in violation of the law to the denial of a level playing field, from the mysterious deployment of army personnel inside polling stations to the mainstreaming of militant organizations as electoral political parties, from deliberately failing the RTS system to a 2-day delay in announcing the results, and from throwing out our polling agents to 95% of Form 45s not having our signatures. The white paper has left out no aspect of the electoral process. The white paper will help political parties to keep an eye on the manipulators and frustrate such designs in the future. The manipulators should realize that in history nothing remains secret, and they are destined to be exposed. I hope in the fullness of time, those stealing and manipulating power transfers will be held accountable and brought to justice. हम करप्शन के एहतसाब की बात करते हैं, मगर आपके वोट, आपके जमहूरी हकूक, उस पर कीमत कोई नहीं लगा सकता। करोड़ों के वोट्स चोरी करने वालों का एहतसाब कब होगा? Ladies and gentlemen, the new government is now nearly 6 months in tenure. It started off with fits and starts, with jerks and indecisions, with U-turns justified as hallmarks of great leaders. The worst is that the new setup continues to be plagued by indecisions, by lack of direction, and a total absence of resolve. The new year will be the toughest on our economy. We are deeply concerned because we see no capacity in the new team. They are not only incapable, they don't know the way and they are afraid to lead. That is why they still shrug off responsibility and merely blame previous governments. From our economy to anti-corruption, from CPEC to reforms in Fatah and Gilgit-Baltistan, from human rights to the province of South Punjab, they are clueless, and they are indecisive. A serious national issue is corruption and how this is addressed. Unfortunately, corruption has been employed as a tool to rewrite the political landscape. The fight against corruption will not be won as long as some are treated as sacred cows. There must be no sacred cows when it comes to the fight against corruption. It is fallacious to argue that some institutions are less corrupt than others. There is corruption in all sections of our society. There is also institutional corruption. Corruption within institutions legitimized by so-called internal self-regulations and self-accountability. It is wrong to have one set of laws for one section of society and another set of laws for another section of society. It is wrong, deeply wrong, that the wheels of justice stop turning when it comes to the Asghar Khan case. The Pakistan People's Party is deeply concerned about corruption and how it is addressed. We have demanded one uniform anti-corruption law and one anti-corruption mechanism applicable to anyone paid out of the national exchequer. I urge all political parties to work towards this goal to end corruption in all institutions, but also to make sure that accusations of corruption is not merely a tool for victimization, character assassination, and political engineering. The standards of justice cannot be arbitrary. You, as lawyers, are aware of so many judgments of the Supreme Court and the High Courts, where the courts have declared that the outcome of a JIT are merely an opinion and not binding on the courts. So much so that the Honorable Chief Justice himself, in a case before him, held that a JIT report is at the most a report under section 173 CRPC. But it is unfortunate that the JIT on Bainami accounts was treated as a final judgment. JIT members purposely leaked information to ministers and to the media in contempt of Supreme Court orders in order to conduct our media trial. The entire process has been a farce. All responses, justifications, and defenses provided to the JIT in person or in writing have purposely been left out of their report to mislead the people, to mislead the media, and to mislead the courts. How can a fair investigation completely ignore and censor the accused responses, defenses, and justifications? Not only this, but there is a whole host of accusations we were not even told about, let alone given the opportunity to respond to them. Even former Chief Minister Qaim Ali Shah and Chief Minister Murad Ali Shah, both of whom have an impeccable record and have never been accused of corruption before, were accused in the JIT without ever being called to appear and give their version. This entire process has undermined our right to a fair trial and a fair investigation guaranteed under Article 10A of the Constitution of Pakistan. I have never held public office, nor have I actively been involved in any business. Alhamdulillah, I've never done any corruption. My hands are clean. You know this. I know this. Even the people now accusing us know this. This is why I was not named in the original FIR, nor was I amongst the list of hundreds and thousands of names called before the JIT. Near the end of their investigation, right after my political tour of Gilgit-Baltistan, I was sent a notice by the JIT. After my Sakhar Jalsa, I was sent a questionnaire by the JIT. And after our speech on Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto's 11th anniversary, I was placed on the ECL. Such naked political victimization will not deter us from speaking truth to power and fighting for a democratic Pakistan. It is the ultimate irony that I am being questioned for actions from when I was 1 year old and 6 years old, and yet today we are still waiting for justice for Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto. The basis, the bias, and political victimization and motivation of the JIT are abundantly clear for anyone with the will to see them. We will fight and expose such conspiracies on each and every forum. Ladies and gentlemen, stagnation is perhaps the worst affliction to plague an institution. Reforms and evolution are necessary to progress. The judges have done more than enough in a bid to reform almost every section of our state and society. I earnestly appeal to the honorable judges to also spare a thought for reforms in the judiciary itself. In our judicial system, the interface of the citizens with the law takes place in the lower courts. It is the lower courts where the wheels of justice move the slowest, and citizens have to wait decades for justice. The subordinate judiciary needs reform to alleviate the suffering of those oppressed by the law. We need reform so that the law serves the poor, the downtrodden, and the dispossessed. We need reforms to make access to justice less expensive. We need reforms to correct our broken criminal justice system. We need reforms so that convicts are not hanged before their appeals are finally decided. We need reforms to enable women, half our population, to seek justice. We need reforms so that juveniles and mentally challenged people are not sent to the gallows. We need reforms so that not as many as 27 crimes are punishable by the death penalty. We need reforms, ladies and gentlemen, to ensure that there are no more miscarriages of justice. Khawateeno Hazrat, मैं आज इस मौके का फायदा उठाते हुए अहले पंजाब और आप वकला की तवज्जो एक अहम मामले की तरफ भी दिलाना चाहता हूं। पाकिस्तान पीपल्स पार्टी ने हमेशा वफाक की सियासत की और वफाक को इकट्ठे रखने में एक तारीखी किरदार अदा किया और करते रहेगी। लेकिन आज वफाक खतरे में है। आज छोटे सूबे इस मुल्क के ठेकेदारों की तर्ज सियासत से नाला है। हमने 18वीं तरमीम करके 1973 के आईन को असल शक्ल में बहाल किया, जो कि सूबों के आईनी हकूक और उनको सूबाए खुद मुख्तारी की जमानत है, मगर आज उस पर खुले आम हमला किए जा रहे हैं। आज एक दफा फिर सूबे के माली वसाइल पर डाका डालने की तैयारी की जा रही है। शायद इस मुल्क के ठेकेदारों को इस बात की अंदाजा नहीं कि वो कितना खतरनाक गेम खेल रहे हैं। सिर्फ ये ही नहीं, आज इस मुल्क में जो लोग आईन की सुप्रीमेसी की बात करते हैं, रूल ऑफ लॉ की बात करते हैं, इंसानी हुकूक की बात करते हैं, मीडिया पर लगाए पाबंदियों पर बात करते हैं, मिसिंग पर्सन्स पर बात करते हैं, उन सब को शक की निगाह से देखा जा रहा है। और यह खतरनाक रवैया है जिसकी वजह से फेडरेशन को नुकसान पहुंच सकता है। मैं समझता हूं कि जो पाकिस्तानी जुल्म के खिलाफ आवाज उठाते हैं वो सबसे बड़ा पेट्रियट्स है और उनकी बात सुननी चाहिए। मैं इस मुल्क के तमाम कुव्वतों को वाज़ेह पैगाम देना चाहता हूं कि ये मुल्क सिर्फ और सिर्फ शहीद जुल्फिकार अली भुट्टो के आईन के मुताबिक ही चलेगा। कोई भी अनइलेक्टेड फर्द 2/3 से ज्यादा ऑफ पार्लियामेंट से पास होने वाले आईन को खत्म करने का मजाज नहीं हो सकता और सिर्फ अवाम के नुमाइंदों को ही उनके मुताबिक उनके मुस्तकबिल के फैसले करने का हक हासिल है। यह हमारा नजरिया है। इस नजरिया के लिए शहीद जुल्फिकार अली भुट्टो ने शहादत कबूल की। इस नजरिया के लिए शहीद मोहतरमा बेनजीर भुट्टो ने शहादत कबूल की। हम इस पे कभी भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं करेंगे। Ladies and gentlemen, there are so many contemporary issues that I wanted to talk to you about today, but I realize that not every subject can be talked about in one sitting, in one day. I look forward to continuing this dialogue with the PLF, with members of the legal community, with members of the bar, with members of the media, and with the intelligentsia and people of Pakistan in honor of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. कभी तो सोचना ये तुमने क्या किया लोगो, कभी तो सोचना ये तुमने क्या किया लोगो, ये किसको तुमने सरेदार खो दिया लोगो। हवाए बुक से खबासत चली तो अपने साथ उड़ा के ले गए इंसाफ की कबा लोगो। दिया था सुबह मुसरत ने एक चिराग हमें, उसी को तुमने सरे शाम खो दिया लोगो, उसी को सरे शाम खो दिया लोगो। सुला दिया जिसे जिंदा में तुमने मौत की नींद, सुला दिया जिसे जिंदा में तुमने मौत की नींद, जगाएगी उसे हालात की सदा लोगो। आप सबका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। मैं एक बार फिर अपोलोजाइज करना चाहता हूं कि मैं खुद तशरीफ़ नहीं ला सकता था। आप सबका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। जिए भुट्टो।
आज पीपल्स पार्टी के कारकुनों को खराजे तहसीन पेश करता हूँ, ये कहना था बिलावल भुट्टो जरदारी का। उनका मजीद कहना था कि आपने जैसे आमरीत के खिलाफ जमहूरियत की जंग लड़ी वो काबिले तहसीन है। एक और वजीर आजम को एहतसाब के नाम पर बाहर निकाल दिया गया है। उनका मजीद कहना था कि वकला ने आमरीत के खिलाफ जंग लड़ी। जुल्फिकार अली भुट्टो कानून की हुक्मरानी पर यकीन रखते थे। शहीद भुट्टो के मिशन की तकमील के लिए जद्दोजहद जारी रखेंगे।
24 न्यूज़, बाखबर 24 घंटे।